What's going on, everybody? This is Alan Lowman with Lowman Education. Today, I'm going to show you how to do the RLA Framework. So grab a blank sheet of paper, scoot over like ½ inch and draw a line down the side of it. Then we're going to draw two horizontal lines, roughly spaced like this. And then we're going to label these three areas. We're going to first have skills that we're going to use as we interact with the text this year. Then we're going to learn about the different types of genres we're going to work with this year. And then lastly, we're going to learn about, hey, how are the different ways that we're going to interact with the text this year? And so first, let's divide the skills into 5 boxes. The easiest way to do that is draw a box in the middle and a line on either side of it. You got 5 boxes. Then there's 6 major genres that we're going to work with this year. And so draw a horizontal line across the middle of that and then 2 vertical lines. And then lastly, man, here is the 4 ways that we're going to interact with it. You need 3 lines to create 4 boxes across the bottom. So now you've got the framework set up. Let's start filling it in. Skill 1, foundational skills. This is the basics. Let's make sure we know how to read. Let's make sure we know how to write. Let's make sure we know how to have a group discussion. Let's practice working on vocabulary. Let's practice working on participating in a group discussion. These are the basics. This is the foundation that we're going to need to work with text this year. Next, we're going to work on comprehension skills. Can you understand what you're reading? Can you make inferences? Can you ask questions before, during, and after you're reading? Man, this is really important. Can you understand what you're reading? After that, we're going to work on our response skills. Can you respond to what you just read and understood? Can you talk about it? Can you write about it? Can you create summaries? Can you use evidence whenever you're writing about what you just read? Very important, our response skills. Then comes genre elements. The text that we're going to read, they have different characteristics to them. They have different elements to them. And so we're going to learn, hey, can you identify the different elements in these genres? And then the last skill that we're going to work on this year is author's purpose and author's craft. We're going to ask a lot of why questions. Why did the author include these elements? Why did the author include these characteristics within his text? Why are these features in there? And then lastly, hey, when you're writing, can you include those same features and elements in there? So we're going to ask lots of why questions. Then it's our genres. The first genre we're going to work with is fiction. These are stories that the author creates using their imagination. And so you act like you're pulling the story from your head because that's what the authors do. So this is where we get, for example, fairy tales and Harry Potter and castles and dragons. That's fiction text. The next text is literary nonfiction. This is a true narrative based on people and events. And so I act like I'm holding up a trophy because oftentimes literary nonfiction can be stories about people who are successful, who worked hard and overcame obstacles and just have a great story to tell. So that's literary nonfiction. The next genre we're going to work on is drama. And drama is plays and musicals that were written to be performed. And so I act like I'm going to do my Home Alone hands. That was definitely written to be performed. And so dramas, great stuff. Next, we're going to move over to poetry. And poetry has musical qualities to it, like rhythm and rhyme. And they're written in lines and stanzas. So poetry is very unique from the other types of genres. And so all these 4, we call these literary genres. These are literary. And then the other ones over here, they're going to be non-literary genres. And so the first one is informational. This is where we are going to learn, read to learn. And so we're going to learn something when we open up this text. And so you can think of like a science textbook or a history textbook, or if you're going to read a news article, we are reading with the intent to learn something. And then next is argumentative. This is where the author of the text takes a side of an issue. And then often they're going to say, hey, here's my reasons why we're writing. So 1, 2, 3, you kind of shake your finger at somebody like, here's what the issue is, and here's the right way, and here's why. So that's argumentative text. So again, literary genres right here, non-literary genres. These are the major genres we're going to be working with. But lastly, how are we going to interact with these texts? First, we're going to read them. And so you act like you're opening a book to read. Then we're going to listen, maybe to somebody reading the text or listen to somebody discussing the text. Then we are going to write about the text, and we're going to write our own too. And so we're also going to write these different genres. And then lastly is speaking. We're going to have a discussion about the text, or maybe we're going to have a presentation about what we read. And so the last one is speaking. And so that's what we're doing this year in RLA. We've got the skills we're going to develop. We've got the text that we're going to read. And then we've got the way that we're going to interact with the text. And so every day we're going to be doing, working with something on this chart. So let me run through it one more time. First, we're going to work on our basic skills. Then we're going to make sure we're working on our understanding and inferencing skills. Then we're going to work on discussing and writing in our response skills. Then we're going to learn about the different characteristics of the different genres. For example, like a plot diagram right here is a part of a literary text. And then author's purpose. Shoot, why did they do that? Why did they have that in there? Why did they choose to do that? So those are the skills we're working on. And then here are the different types of genres. First, we're working with fiction. These are imaginative stories. Next is true narratives, literary nonfiction. People that were successful overcame, hardships and they achieved what they want. Drama. These are plays and musicals written to be performed. And then poetry. Oh, I didn't do the sign for this. This is musical qualities. I act like I'm doing the 70s dance. I don't know what it's called, but man, you just got to dance and move because poetry moves you. It's got musical qualities. And then non-literary text, we got information we're going to read to learn something. And then argumentative, this is where the text is going to take a side on an issue and give you the reasons why they're right. And then lastly, how we're going to interact with the text. We're going to read it. We're going to listen to others talking about it, or maybe listen to others read it. We're going to write about the text or write our own. And then lastly, we're going to speak about it in group discussions or maybe during a presentation. And so that is the RLA framework. That's the plan for this year. Man, I hope you enjoyed this video.